Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to the channel. It is such a privilege to have you here with me today. If you are new to our little community, I am Sophia. I have been a flight attendant for over 15 years, spending thousands of hours at 35,000 feet, watching over millions of passengers. I have seen births, I have seen proposals, I have seen reunions that made me cry, and I have seen the pure joy of travel. But I have also seen the other side. I have seen the medical emergencies. I have seen the diversions. I have seen the sheer panic in the eyes of a spouse when their partner stops responding mid-flight. And the hardest part? The absolute hardest part of my job is knowing that so many of these tragedies were preventable. They happened because someone, usually a sweet, stubborn senior traveler who didn't want to miss out or lose the money, got on a plane when their body was screaming at them to stay on the ground. Today, we are going to have a very difficult, very honest, but incredibly necessary conversation. We are going to talk about the 5 signs you should never fly, specifically if you are over the age of 70. Now, I know what you are thinking. Sophia, don't tell me I can't travel. I'm 75 and I feel great. And to you, I say wonderful. I want you to travel. I want you to see the world. I want to serve you your ginger ale on your way to Paris. But physiology changes as we age. The way our bodies react to the pressurized cabin environment, which is essentially a low oxygen, high expansion environment, is different when we are 70 than when we are 30. This video isn't about scaring you. It is about empowering you with the medical reality of aviation so that you can make the right decision. We are going to cover the hidden dangers of recent surgeries, the oxygen drop that catches respiratory patients off guard, the cognitive decline that mimics hypoxia, and the specific heart symptoms that are an absolute no-go. We are also going to talk about the financial ruin that happens if you fly against doctor's orders. So please grab a cup of tea, sit down, and maybe call your daughter or son to watch this with you. This is the information that could literally save your life. Let's start by understanding the environment. Before we get to the specific signs, you need to understand what happens to the human body when the door closes. We pressurize the cabin, but we don't pressurize it to sea level. If we did, the plane would explode from the pressure difference. We pressurize it to the equivalent of about 6,000 to 8,000 feet above sea level. Imagine you are instantly transported from your living room to the top of a mountain in Colorado instantly. The gas in your body expands by 30%. The oxygen in your blood drops by about 4% to 10%. Your heart rate increases to compensate. For a healthy person, this is nothing. You might yawn, your ears pop, you feel a little sleepy. But if you have underlying conditions, this shift can be the tipping point. This brings us to sign number 1, recent surgery involving gas or trapped spaces. This is the one that people ignore the most because they feel fine. Let's say you just had eye surgery, maybe a retinal detachment repair. Often the surgeon injects a tiny gas bubble into the eye to hold the retina in place while it heals. If you get on a plane with that gas bubble, Boyle's law takes over. As the cabin pressure drops, that gas bubble expands, but inside your eye, there is nowhere for it to go. The pressure in your eye skyrockets. It can cause excruciating pain, and it can cause permanent, irreversible blindness before we even reach cruising altitude. I once had a passenger, a lovely gentleman in his late 60s, who had minor eye surgery a week before. He thought he was fine. He didn't tell his doctor he was flying. 20 minutes after takeoff, he was screaming in pain. We couldn't descend fast enough. He lost a significant amount of vision in that eye. It breaks my heart because it was 100% preventable. But it's not just eyes, it's any surgery where air might be trapped. Laparoscopic surgery, belly button surgery, where they pump gas into your abdomen to see, that gas stays in your body for days. If you fly too soon, your gut expands painfully, it can tear internal stitches, it can cause massive hemorrhaging. And here's a surprising one, dental work. If you have had a root canal or a drilling procedure within 24 to 48 hours, and there is a tiny pocket of air trapped under a filling or in the root, the expansion at altitude can cause a toothache so severe it mimics a stroke. I have seen grown men crying in the fetal position from a toothache at 30,000 feet. If you have had any surgery, eye, ear, chest, abdominal, or major dental, in the last 14 days, you need to look at that as a giant stop sign. Do not book the ticket until you have explicitly asked your surgeon, is it safe for me to be in a pressurized cabin at 8,000 feet? If they hesitate, you stay home. Sign number 2, resting breathlessness or low oxygen saturation. This is specific for my passengers with COPD, emphysema, pulmonary fibrosis, or those recovering from a nasty bout of pneumonia or bronchitis. Here's the Sophia test. I want you to try this at home. Can you walk 50 yards, that's halfway down a football field, at a brisk pace, or climb one flight of stairs without stopping to catch your breath? If the answer is no, if you are wheezing or gasping after a flight of stairs at home, you are likely not safe to fly without supplemental oxygen. Here is the science. At sea level, your blood oxygen saturation, SpO2, is probably around 95% to 98%. When you go to 8,000 feet cabin altitude, everyone's oxygen drops. A healthy person drops to maybe 93%. We are fine. But if you start at 92% because of COPD and you drop the same amount, you are now in the 80s. This is called hypoxia. Your brain isn't getting enough oxygen. Your heart starts racing to pump more blood. This puts a massive strain on your heart. I see this happen with seniors recovering from respiratory infections. They feel mostly better. They get on the plane, but their lungs are still weak. An hour into the flight, they turn gray, their lips turn blue, they get confused. We have to put them on the emergency oxygen bottles. And here is the kicker. Airlines do not provide oxygen for medical conditions unless you book it in advance and pay for it, or bring your own approved portable concentrator. The yellow masks that drop from the ceiling, those are for decompression emergencies only. They last 12 minutes. They are not for your COPD flare-up. If you are over 70 and have any lung issues, go to the pharmacy and buy a pulse oximeter. They are $20. Put it on your finger. If your resting oxygen at home is below 92%, do not get on a plane without a doctor's explicit fit-to-fly plan, which likely involves arranging supplemental oxygen. Flying with compromised lungs is like running a marathon while breathing through a straw. It is dangerous. Sign number 3, unstable cardiac symptoms, the silent warning. Heart attacks in the air are the #1 cause of flight diversions, and many of them happen to people who didn't feel quite right that morning but got on the plane anyway. We need to distinguish between a chronic condition and an unstable condition. If you have high blood pressure that is controlled by medication, you are fine. If you had a bypass 5 years ago and you are hiking inactive, you are likely fine. But if you have unstable angina, you must not fly. What is unstable angina? It is chest pain that happens at rest, or chest pain that is happening more frequently or with less exertion than usual. If you are sitting watching TV and you feel that tightness, that is a red flag. Now imagine adding the stress of the airport. The TSA lines, the heavy bags, the rushing to the gate, your cortisol spikes, your adrenaline spikes, your heart rate goes up, then you sit in a seat where the oxygen drops. This combination creates a cardiac storm. Also, if you have had a heart attack, myocardial infarction, within the last 4 to 6 weeks, most cardiologists will tell you to stay on the ground. Your heart muscle is healing, it is scar tissue forming, it is electrically unstable. The lower oxygen environment can trigger arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats. I remember a terrifying flight from New York to London. We were over the Atlantic, 3 hours from land. A woman called me over. Her husband was clutching his chest. She said, he had some chest pain yesterday, but he thought it was indigestion from the farewell dinner. It wasn't indigestion, it was a heart attack. We had to do CPR. We diverted to Newfoundland. It was traumatic for everyone, but mostly for his wife. If you have new chest pain, severe shortness of breath while lying flat, or if you have changed your heart medication in the last week and don't know how you react to it yet, do not fly. The airplane is the worst place in the world to have a heart event. We have defibrillators, yes. We have basic drugs, but we are not a hospital. We are a metal tube in the sky. Sign number 4, recent head trauma or concussion. This is one that seniors often dismiss. Maybe you tripped over a rug while packing. Maybe you bumped your head on the car door getting into the taxi. You have a headache, maybe a little dizzy, but you think, I'm not going to miss my granddaughter's wedding for a bump on the head. Please listen to me. A concussion is a brain injury. When you have a brain injury, your brain swells. Remember what we said about gas expanding at altitude? While the brain itself doesn't expand, the pressure changes in the skull and the sinuses can exacerbate the swelling and the symptoms of a concussion. Flying with a recent concussion can lead to post-concussive syndrome that lasts for months. The symptoms, dizziness, nausea, light sensitivity, confusion, can become severe in the air. But the darker risk is a slow brain bleed, subdural hematoma. As we age, our brains shrink slightly, pulling away from the skull. This makes the bridging veins more susceptible to tearing during a fall. A minor bump for a 70-year-old can cause a slow bleed that a 20-year-old wouldn't have. At sea level, this might be manageable or slow progressing, but the hypoxia, low oxygen, at altitude causes the brain's blood vessels to dilate, widen, to try to get more oxygen. This vasodilation can increase the pressure inside the skull, intracranial pressure. If you have hit your head and you haven't been cleared by a CT scan or a doctor, flying is a massive risk. If you feel dizzy, nauseous, or have the worst headache of your life, that is a sign to go to the ER, not the airport. Sign number 5, signs of deep vein thrombosis, DVT, or the hot leg. We talk about DVT a lot in travel, usually about how to prevent it, wear socks, move your legs. But what if you already have one and don't know it? As we age, our circulation slows down, our risk of clotting increases. If you have a clot in your leg, DVT, and you get on a plane, the pressure changes and the immobility can cause that clot to break free. If it breaks free, it travels to your lungs. That is a pulmonary embolism, PE. A PE is often instantly fatal. What are the signs you absolutely must not ignore? Look at your legs right now. Is one leg swollen more than the other? Is there a red tender spot on your calf? Does your leg feel hot to the touch in one specific area? Is there a pain deep in the muscle that feels like a cramp but won't go away? If you have any of these symptoms, you do not get on that plane. You go to a hospital for an ultrasound. I cannot tell you how many seniors ignore leg cramps. They think it's just arthritis or stiffness. They get on a 6-hour flight. They sit still. The clot moves. If you have a history of clots, or if you have recently had hip or knee replacement surgery, which puts you at massive risk, you need to be on blood thinners or have a strict clearance from your doctor. And while we are on the topic of the hot leg, let's talk about severe anemia. If your hemoglobin is very low, below 8.5 gdl, your blood cannot carry enough oxygen. Combined with the low cabin oxygen, you will faint, you will pass out. I have seen it happen during the walk to the bathroom. If you are being treated for anemia, ask your doctor for your numbers before you fly. The cognitive decline factor, the 6th sign. I want to add a nuanced point here about cognitive health. This isn't a medical emergency in the traditional sense, but it is a safety crisis. If you or your loved one is in the early to moderate stages of dementia or Alzheimer's, air travel can be incredibly disorienting. We call it sundowning, where confusion increases as the sun goes down. But on a plane, sundowning can happen anytime because of the lower oxygen and the disruption of routine. The lower oxygen levels can acutely worsen dementia symptoms. A senior who is a little forgetful at home can become completely combative, terrified, or delusional at 30,000 feet. They don't know where they are. They try to open the door. They think the other passengers are intruders. If you are a caregiver traveling with a parent with cognitive decline, you need to know this risk. Never let them travel alone. And if they have had a recent episode of severe aggression or wandering, a plane is not a safe environment for them. The fit to fly solution. So, Sophia, this is all terrifying. Does this mean I can never fly? No, it means you need to verify. If you have any of the conditions we discussed, you need to ask your doctor for a fit to fly assessment. This isn't just a verbal, yeah, you're good. It is a check of your oxygen levels, a check of your surgical sites, a review of your meds. And here is the most important secret I can give you, the travel insurance loophole. Many of you buy travel insurance. You think, if I get sick, I'm covered. Read the fine print. Almost every policy has a clause about traveling against medical advice. If you have a known unstable condition, or if you just had surgery and your doctor said, I wouldn't recommend it, but didn't physically stop you, and then you have an emergency, the insurance will pay $0. They will pull your medical records. They will see the surgery date. They will see the doctor's notes. Do you know how much a medical diversion costs? If we have to land a Boeing 777 in Iceland because you had a heart attack, it can cost anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000 in fuel, landing fees, and passenger compensation. Do you know how much an air ambulance, a medical jet, costs to get you home from Europe with a nurse? $50,000 to $100,000. Cash, upfront. If you fly when you have these warning signs, you are gambling your life savings. The wait-and-see strategy. If you have these symptoms, the answer isn't no forever. It is usually not yet. Eye surgery? Wait 4 weeks. Heart attack? Wait 6 weeks to 3 months. Pneumonia? Wait until your oxygen is 95% at rest. The Eiffel Tower will still be there in 2 months. Your health might not be if you rush it. Conclusion. I say all of this with so much love. I love my senior passengers. You are the generation that taught us how to travel with grace. You dress up for flights. You say please and thank you. You are the best. And that is why I am so protective of you. I don't want you to be the medical emergency in row 14. I don't want your family to get that phone call. If you are watching this and you have that nagging feeling, my leg does hurt a little, or I am a little short of breath, listen to that feeling. It is your body trying to keep you safe. Go to the doctor, get the test, be honest with them about the flight. And if you have a parent over 70 who is planning a trip, please send them this video. Sometimes they won't listen to their kids, but they might listen to a flight attendant who has seen the consequences. If you found this helpful, or if it made you think twice about a symptom, please hit that subscribe button. We are building a community of smart, safe travelers here. And hit the like button to help this video get recommended to other seniors who need to see it. In the next video, I am going to talk about something much lighter, I promise. We are going to discuss the best seats for seniors on every major airline. Which ones have the most legroom and the easiest access to the bathrooms? Take care of yourselves, listen to your bodies, and I hope to see you in the skies when you are healthy and ready to fly. Bye everyone. Take care of yourselves. Listen to your bodies, and I hope to see you in the skies when you are healthy and ready to fly. Bye everyone.